Embiid going at it with Karl-Anthony Towns. And the bench is empty. My goodness.
Ben's got him by the neck.
Aaron the Suns are balling.
Is balling.
The Suns are
Correct.
balling. They beat the Clippers. They were right
I-
with the Nuggets. And then here they are waxing the Warriors. Like the Suns, I'm not going to say they're going to win the West, but they've played really well out the gate this season.
I just felt like I needed a switch. I felt like a lot of stuff in Golden State had reared its head, and I felt like that was just going to be the end no matter what, especially for that group. Sean Livingston was retiring. Andre Iguodala was getting older. Our contracts were going to stifle the team and put us in the hole to get other players. So I was just like, it was time for all of us to kind of separate.
Welcome to episode 20 of the Voice of Reason podcast. As usual, this is Joe.
And this is Lito.
And we're here with everything you need to know about the National Basketball Association. Now, Lito, the season has not been going on for very long. We're like 2 weeks into the season now.
Yes, we have.
And I do realize that when we first started this season, our season premiere, we had a special announcement.
Yes.
Lito was a free agent over the summer.
Yes.
And you chose a team. But I think now you might have like a special announcement for the people.
Yes.
Is there anything you want to tell these people?
I'm sorry. You can call me a bandwagon. You can call me whatever you want.
Call you a lot of things.
But this just in.
Breaking news.
I'm
roll?
going
Are we
back
doing a drum roll again?
With the Phoenix Suns.
Oh my God. No one saw that coming.
And I'm rocking the jersey right now as we speak. But I'm going with the Phoenix Suns. I tried watching the Rockets game, and I just cannot get into cheering for the Rockets. I will always cheer for Russell Westbrook. Don't get me wrong. Mm-hmm. I'm going to let y'all know that Russell Westbrook is my favorite player.
How you feel about his hair?
Huh? I hate his hair. I hate his hair. Please let that go. But I will always support that guy. I'm his biggest fan, and I want him to win a championship. So I'm always going to root for him, and I hope he wins the championship this year or soon. But my team is the Phoenix Suns.
It's kind of weird to me that you're talking about that you hope the Brody wins the championship over your own team.
Well,
now.
Of course, my team too.
What do you mean? There can only be one champion.
Well, listen,
there can be only one. I know if you're familiar with the Highlander, but there can be only one.
I'm in a win-win-win situation.
You're always in a win-win-win situation because you have so many teams. Like you don't feel the pain. Like I know you watching me and what happened with the Sixers last season. You saw the pain that was in my heart.
Yes,
that pain was terrible, but that pain was real.
Yeah,
and that's what sports is all about. If you have no choice but to always win, then I feel like you're not feeling the whole thing. You're not getting the whole experience.
Oh, I am.
You know what? You know what I always say? In order to have sunny days, you got to have rainy days because you can't appreciate the sun without the rain.
Well, I've been in hurricanes plenty of times, right? Because I have never won a championship as a favorite.
Yeah, any of those teams you be talking about, like none of them.
My 2005 Phoenix Suns with Steve Nash and Amari, a lot of hurricanes days, all right? Then OKC, a lot of them. And now hopefully I will see the sun with the Phoenix Suns.
I got to point out something here, though. You know, the Phoenix has been like bottom feeders in the Western Conference.
Of course.
Pretty much since Devin Booker has been drafted, okay? And if you want to be a Phoenix Suns fan, you go ahead and be a Phoenix Suns fan. But it's the Voice of Reason podcast. So you can't go switching from team to team thinking you're going to escape my wrath, okay? Because when we come here on this podcast, there are some tough questions that you need to answer.
Yes.
My first thing to you, Devin Booker is your boy.
Yes.
You love Devin Booker,
yes.
Right? That is your man.
Yes.
That is your guy.
Yes.
Am I right?
Yes, been a fan of him too.
Okay. So please tell me, how come Devin Booker cannot get that team past 15th, 14th, 13th place in the Western Conference?
Simple. This is one of the simplest questions you ever asked me. And
sure.
I feel so confident giving you this answer.
Please tell me.
First of all, he never had a good coach.
Oh my God.
Second of all, he never had a good team up until now. Now he has a coach on Monty Williams, and he has a good supporting cast.
Okay.
So now it's championship or bust. It's actually playoff or bust. If you don't make it to the top 8 or maybe top 10.
Oh my
top
God.
10 it's a success.
Oh my God.
Top 10 it's a
That's
success.
low expectations.
Well, me as a fan, I'm there. All right, that's my expectation. Top 10 in the West, and we good. All right,
that makes you good.
Mind you, we're playing without Ayton right now for a couple months. When he comes back, who knows? Maybe we'll look even better than what we're looking right now. Because let me remind y'all, because I know nobody watching the Phoenix Suns. They beat the Clippers. Suns. They lost to Utah Jazz by 1 point, and it was a free throw attempt that made them lose. And they almost beat Denver.
Yeah, you're telling me that those were some good losses. That's what you said.
Yeah.
Those were your exact words.
It's a learning loss.
Remember what I told you?
Yeah.
Only winners get sprinkles.
Yeah, but
there's no such thing as a good loss. All right? If you're not first, you're last. That's the way this works.
All right, Ricky Bobby.
This is a zero-sum game.
Yeah.
All right? Now, your whole Devin Booker thing. Now, I remember the Brody, just a couple of years ago, was able to get his team that wasn't very good into, like, the number 6 spot in the West.
Yes.
So I don't understand why you're making these excuses for Devin Booker. Now, let me remind you that Devin Booker is the youngest player to ever score 70 points. He's the youngest player to ever score 60 points.
Right.
I believe he's the youngest player to ever score 50 points. We all know that this man can ball.
He can ball.
That is not. I'm not even questioning that he can ball.
Yeah.
But you being a Phoenix Suns fan as you are today.
Hold on, but go ahead. Keep going.
I'm gonna be taking these shots this whole time. I'll be like, these are body punches. These are body look like Canelo right now.
What jersey is this?
It's the Phoenix jersey.
But what is it? It's Steve Nash jersey.
It is.
All right.
And actually, now that you bring up this whole Steve Nash thing, let me say that not too long ago you said that you thought Trae Young was better than Steve Nash, but we're not.
No, I did not say that.
You did. You compared him to Steph Curry, and then you compared him to Steve Nash too, and we had a whole conversation about that. And you are so wrong. Steve Nash is one of the best that ever did.
Carry on.
My whole point about Devin Booker, though, is that when you have a player who's supposed to be that guy who you guys are going to be paying a max contract to, I don't know if he's signed it or not. Like, he's that guy. You can't say that he's had no one. Y'all have had top draft picks. Y'all have had some good players on there. As a matter of fact, you can't tell me that team last year that finished 15th place in the West didn't underperform like crazy. And when that happens, who do we put the blame on
the coach and the GMs, all right?
Okay, we put the blame on that top player, that top dog. When the Sixers underperformed last year, we were blaming the coach and the GM too. But that blame was on the top guys. It was on Embiid, it was on Ben Simmons, right?
Yeah.
And I was the first one. I was the first one screaming from the rooftops.
Yeah.
What was going on with that? So you got to be honest with yourself. You have a player who's been in the league for about 5 years now, and he hasn't even come anywhere near the playoffs.
Well,
nowhere near.
Well, breaking news. I'm gonna break it down to you right now.
Break it down to me,
This year, he's gonna prove you wrong.
Okay.
He's gonna prove the whole world wrong.
The whole world.
Because he's gonna be an all-star this year for the first time. I'm predicting that.
How's that gonna happen?
You'll see.
Well, Steph Curry is hurt now, so he has a shot.
Yeah.
Although with these fans, they'll probably vote him in when he's hurt.
That's true.
Eddie Booker will be an alternate.
But he has a chance. If he can make it top 8, why not? Why not put a Phoenix Suns in the All-Star? And it should be him. I have a feeling this year they're going to be really good. I've been watching their games. And actually, this is the team that I've been paying attention to the most. I know it's only week 2, but I've been watching their games. I like what they're doing. We actually watched a game together against the Clippers. And you could tell that they were playing a little bit better than before. And I just feel like this is their chance to at least be top 10. That's what I'm saying. And when Ayton comes back, look out, man.
Really? DeAndre Ayton?
Yeah, I like Ayton. Yeah.
But you know what happened with DeAndre Ayton, though.
Can we not talk about that?
No, we have to talk. No. Excuse me, sir.
Investigation.
Excuse me, sir. You are a Phoenix Suns fan, and as I told you, you're not going to escape these hard-hitting questions on the voice of reason. So your boy DeAndre Ayton has been suspended for 25 games because he used a masking agent that's used to mask, steroids and performance-enhancing drugs. So we got suspended for that. What do you think about that? Such a young player going to something like that, especially like a big guy like this.
Listen, everybody's proven innocent until proven guilty, right?
He's been proven guilty.
Did I say that right?
It doesn't even matter because he failed a drug test.
He's innocent, all right?
You can't say somebody
I want to
innocent
test.
is OJ still innocent too?
Well, he did it. But let me just say,
He wasn't proven guilty though.
I think it's a setup by the
He got
NBA.
off.
They're trying to. It's a setup by the NBA. They want the Phoenix Suns to go back to Seattle or sell to Seattle. Like they're trying to make this team even worse. Mm-hmm. But Booker is like, not today. I'm the captain now.
That's Siakam. So you have no problem with this young player, this high drafted. We talk drafted number 1 or number 2, something like that.
I think he drafted number 1, top 4. He has to be top 4. I'm not
yeah,
sure.
He was either 1 or 2.
Yeah,
but he might have been 1. But I don't know. We don't have a research report. We've been through this. Like, you're okay with a young player like this failing a drug test, and people.
Oh wait, Ayton?
Yeah.
Oh, Ayton was number 1. Yeah, I think he was number 1.
That's
I think you were talking about Booker. Yeah, he was number
Booker.
1. Yeah,
but we're off of Booker now.
Yeah.
So you don't see that as a bad sign. This guy failing this drug test and costing the team 25 games. Y'all need him.
You know we do need him, but guess what? We're winning without him. And guess what? This month, guess what?
5 games in.
This week coming up, you'll see what we do against you. All right?
Okay, my next hard-hitting question, sir, about these Phoenix Suns.
What?
You remember back in the draft this past summer, right? When the Phoenix Suns had the number 5 pick. And they traded that number 5 pick. That number 5 pick could have been Cam Reddish. That number 5 pick could have been your guy, my guy, our guy, Kobe White. That number 5 pick could have been somebody, but y'all traded that for a number 11 pick. I don't even know who y'all drafted. Maybe you can enlighten me and these people.
Michael Bridges. Was that our pick?
No, that was last year. Y'all got him from us. We drafted him and then we traded him.
That was last year pick?
Yeah, I
thought we picked him this year.
No, he played for the
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, so you don't even know who your number 11 pick was.
I don't know.
But y'all traded
this
that.
Is all
y'all
new to me. Listen, let me just explain because I feel like I'm not explaining myself right. You know when you're in love with someone, right, and you're all in?
Never been in love before, Lito.
That's how I feel like right now. I'm hallucinating the possibilities, all right? And my Phoenix Suns, the possibilities are endless.
Are they?
Yeah.
Okay. Here's what I think. I think trading that number 5 pick for your number 11 pick and Dario Saric, who, by the way, is the homie. That's my boy.
Yes.
That's drafted by the Philadelphia 76ers.
Yep.
We love Dario out here. We were sorry to see him go, but I must admit, I would be upset if I was a fan of that team. They made a trade like that when they could have gotten a player like a Kobe White or a Cam Reddish or one of these other guys who might end up being pretty good in the draft. That was kind of a stacked draft this past summer.
Yeah,
and I still don't understand the logic to that.
We needed a power forward. That's the logic to that, all right? Mm-hmm. And I feel like what we did was perfect. I told you I did love the pickup for Sarge. I thought he was a huge asset to this team. He's gonna be a huge asset to this team. And can you imagine the pick and roll with him and Booker, and then with Ayton too? Like the possibilities with them 3 together. Mind you, we got Ricky Rubio. So we don't even need Kobe White. So this all makes sense to me on paper. Mind you, we have a small forward for the first time, Kelly Oubre, all right? We finally have a small forward, something that we had back then with Sean Marion, but now we have it, all right?
I like Kelly Oubre.
We good.
Okay.
You'll see what we do. But let's talk about your beloved Philadelphia 76ers.
Before we do that, I just have to... I had to reveal my 76ers shirt. That I'm wearing right now. My Sixers shirt. It's the red one. Just so I know our listeners can't see me right now. But I came prepared tonight.
Let me tell y'all. I've been wearing this hoodie all day when we were prepping about what we were going to discuss. So was he. So when I reveal that I'm going with the Suns, he does the same thing with the Sixers.
Because I know you. I know you.
This is hilarious. But yes, Sixers own is in the building. All right?
We ready.
And y'all are killing it right now. Y'all are
we?
Undefeated team right now in the NBA. And I have one simple question for you.
What's your question?
What is the formula? Mm-hmm. What is working? Is it the fact that Butler ain't there? Is it Simmons being more aggressive? What is it that y'all winning so quickly, so dominant right now?
All right. So it's not because Simmons is more aggressive, although I can kind of, well, we'll get to that in a moment. It's not because Jimmy Butler is left. All right. It is one thing and it's one thing only. Elton Brand has built this team to be a defensive juggernaut. All right. This may be one of the best defensive teams that we've seen this decade, maybe since the Pistons back in the day, back in like the mid-O's when, you had Rasheed Wallace and Ben Wallace and Tayshaun Prince and Rip Hamilton, Chauncey Billups and those boys winning championships. This might be the best defensive team since then. I don't know if you've watched any of our games, but we're routinely holding teams below 100 points. We are literally beating up on teams. As the big cat, Mr. Karl-Anthony Towns, Simmons had him in a chokehold.
I was gonna bring that up too.
Yeah, because he was trying to act a little hard there because he couldn't handle the defensive pressure that we were putting on him. But that's how we're winning these games. We do have a weakness, and that weakness is shooting. Because we only have a couple of shooters on this team. We got Tobias Harris and we have Mike Scott. Those are our two knockdown shooters on this team. And Richardson is kind of coming along. We might be able to get a little bit out of James Ennis. Kyle O'Quinn has been looking really good coming off the bench. He's actually hit some pretty big shots for us. But we don't really have the knockdown shooter that we need.
Coming from the bench.
Exactly.
Well, like I said, you guys have been doing great, and I'm impressed. So we all love Brett Brown now. All of a sudden, this week too.
No, we don't love Brett Brown.
No.
And if you want to talk about what happened the other night, then I can tell you another reason why I don't like Brett Brown.
What happened? Are we talking about the fight?
Hey, because are we talking about the fight?
Let's talk about the fight.
You got some questions.
Let me tell you something about this fight. Do you think Embiid is that dude from Cameroon?
He's the goon from Cameroon.
Oh, my apologies.
And don't make that racist to anybody who's listening. Please.
Because what I saw was somebody who just, you know what Embiid is? He's a clickbait. He loves people talking about him and all that. I felt like this was just him just clickbaiting us, all right? He was just, and then he goes to the bench and starts doing the little, I'm a boxer, But the real dude, the real dog, the real guy that was choke slamming somebody, putting him on a chokehold, was Ben Simmons.
Now, first of all, but I don't want you to be acting like this, okay? Because what Ben Simmons was doing was he was separating Karl-Anthony Towns and Embiid by choking him out. And the league agreed because, Ben Simmons didn't get ejected, he didn't get a T, he didn't get suspended, he didn't get a fine. So the league agrees with my interpretation of events. You may look at the film or the tape, and you may see Ben Simmons choking the shit out of Karl-Anthony.
I love it.
You may see that, but your eyes deceive you. Your eyes are lying to you. I know you say you have 20/20 vision, but you can't always believe your eyes, all right? Now, everybody agrees that he was just in there, he was whispering in his ear, Karl, just calm down, Karl. It's going to be okay. Yeah. All right, that's what he was doing. All right, so I want to first say that. Second thing I want to say to you was that Joel Embiid didn't start that fight. What it was that Karl-Anthony Towns was upset because his team was losing. They were getting blown out at that point. And Embiid talks. He talks. He talks in English. He talks in French. He's one of them players. He's like a Kevin Garnett type. When you're playing him, he's going to talk mad shit to you. And that gets under people's skins.
Right.
It got underneath Russell Westbrook's skin. It got underneath Donovan Mitchell's skin. It got underneath Andre Drummond's skin. Yeah. It got underneath James Harden's skin. That's what he does. That's what we love about him. And I personally think that that's great. I have no problem with anything that Embiid did on the court. I have no problem with anything that Embiid did during the press conference. But, gun to my head, this is the voice of reason. Yeah. We're being honest here. I do have a problem with the social media stuff.
You do?
I do. I think that...
About time.
Well, I know that's his MO. But first of all, the social media stuff, I'm not going to rehash it all. But it started to get really, really personal. And it started looking really immature on his part.
Exactly.
That's the first thing. Second thing is that... the way that the season ended last year was terrible for a variety of reasons, and I'm not going to rehash that. We've already talked about this crazy. It's a new year, but if you're going to win a championship, you have to have laser focus, and things are going to happen on the court, especially when you're a bully like this and you're a team like this that just beats up on everybody. People are going to get mad. There's going to be altercations, but you want to leave that stuff on the court and leave that stuff that night. That's the first thing. If you start carrying it on and keep puffing your chest up, you might start drinking your own Kool-Aid. Right. And you kind of might lose a little bit of the focus that you need on a night-to-night basis in the NBA. That's the first thing. Second thing is that when you start getting a reputation like that, you're going to start getting really quick whistles. You're going to start getting really quick texts. You're going to start getting really quick suspensions from the league. And I honestly believe right now, as you and I are talking together, I honestly believe that if he hadn't done all that talking on social media, he wouldn't have gotten suspended. Yeah. Because he didn't throw a punch. Like, we've been watching the NBA for a really long time. And I think you know too, that when there's an altercation like that, he didn't start it, first of all. That was clearly Big Cat that actually started it. But he didn't throw a punch. And usually if you don't throw a punch, if you're in a fight, you're going to get ejected. You're going to get fined. If you don't throw a punch, you're not going to get suspended. Typically. I've never seen somebody not throw a punch and then get a 2-game suspension. He talked himself into that 2-game suspension. So now he's going to miss the Portland game, which is a big game out there out west, because for all we know, they might be able to win the West.
Right.
And he's going to win that stupid Phoenix game
with
your Phoenix Suns. He's going to miss that game too.
Yes.
And I think that was that's kind of immature of him. He just needs to learn how to just shut things down. Leave it on the court, man. Yeah. I understand tempers are still high. You got more stuff to say in a press conference. Make your little comments in a press conference and leave it at that. Yeah. You'll see him again in March. You ain't going to see him in the playoffs, tell you that much. He ain't making the finals. So, we're only going to see him one more time this year. Just move on, Joel. And bringing this back to the whole Brett Brown thing, when I'm looking at what happened with all that talking with, Embiid has something to say. Mike Scott has something to say. That's my boy. He ain't no bitch. That's my boy. I love Mike Scott. I can't be mad at him. Ben Simmons had something to say. And then we have our rookie, young the bully, Mr. Matisse Thybulle. And it's not showing him a very good example on how to be a pro. And Embiid is the leader of this team, so he should be setting that kind of example. But my thing is that Coach Brown, after that game, after the press conference, he needed to shut that down. He's been coach of this team since 2013. He's been coach of this team since Embiid's been in the league. You know what kind of player, what kind of person that he is. I feel like that if Brett Brown was doing his job, that he should have pulled Embiid aside and just told him, look, man, we blew him out. You showed Karl-Anthony Towns out. You showed who was the bigger, better, badder man. At this point, just leave it alone. Let's get prepared for the next game. You know a suspension might be coming. You don't want to talk yourself into a suspension or a longer suspension. I think that's the coach's job. And I think that the coach should have said something about that.
You're right.
Because think about it. A Pat Riley wouldn't have let that go on. A Greg Popovich wouldn't have let that go on.
And he's with Greg. He came under Greg Popovich's umbrella.
Yeah. So that shows me there's a little bit of a lack of leadership. Well, a lot of lack of leadership from the coach. And a little bit of lack of leadership from our best players. They need to step up to that plate. And the only person who actually handled it in a mature way was Al Horford. Which, of course, we expect because it's Al Horford. Yeah, he's a pro. But Al Horford even came out and said, I understand what everybody's saying. That's not really a good look for the league or for the players on this team. We should focus on basketball. And that's the right thing to say.
Yeah. And I also see a lot of, me, I'm a fan of Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons is the guy. So, to me, I was happy what he did. He stood up for his teammate. That's something that I love. Not like Lonzo Ball. Remember last year? Was it last year or 2 years? I think it was 2 years ago.
That was last year. You talking about the Chris Paul and the Rondo thing? And then Ingram came out. Ingram came slinging from half court.
He didn't pull Alonzo. He went in there and went for the choke.
And took a suspension too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you on that. And one last thing I'll say about this is that this is a Philly thing. Philly loves it. Philly loves the toughness. Philly loves the grit. But one thing I will say, and one thing I've always said, is that you cannot put your pride over progress. All right, you can't let your pride get in the way of your goals, and that's kind of what we're doing here a little bit. So I hope he learns. But one other thing I want to talk to you about, Stephen A. Smith, First Take, Max Kellerman. The best morning show better than Skip and Shannon. I don't care what you say. Come on, man. I don't care what you say.
Come on.
I don't care what you say.
That is as a 9.
At the 10, at the 11.
Skip and Shannon all day, but go ahead.
They had a great interview, I believe it was yesterday or the day before, as we're recording this podcast, with Kevin Durant. And I thought that interview was fascinating. Kevin Durant is probably the best player in the NBA. We can't really say that now because he's hurt. But
no, he is.
Just by ability and about recent accomplishments and what have you done for me lately, you got to put Kevin Durant up there. He's really that top guy. So to have him come out like that and have an interview like that, I thought was very interesting. And I just want to talk about a few things from that interview.
Go ahead.
So the first thing I want to bring up is Draymond Green, that Draymond Green situation. One thing that Kevin Durant said during that interview was that the altercation that he had with Draymond Green, and basically Draymond called him a bitch. They had like this whole thing during a timeout during a game where they were kind of going at it. And Draymond, he'll come at you, and he came at him. Call him a bitch, and who knows what else he said.
Another Embiid that can't control his emotion, but go ahead.
Oh, no.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. I'm not going to let that pass. Because
going.
Embiid gets under other people's skin. It's different. Like, Embiid gets under other people's skin, but for him, it's all laughs and jokes.
We're going to talk about Kevin Durant, but listen, Embiid is what you hate about Russell Westbrook, all right? But go ahead.
Absolutely not. But we're done with the Embiid topic, all right?
Go ahead.
So I thought it was interesting that Kevin Durant actually said that actually played a part in him leaving.
Yeah.
So what do you think? Do you think that's a soft move, though? You think
No,
that's a soft move?
I love it. I love the fact that he said that, and I love the fact that he didn't shy from it, because we all speculated. The media was speculating every day. Oh, this is why Kevin Durant will be leaving, because Draymond called him a bitch and blah blah blah. But I like the fact that he owned up to it. He didn't shy away. He said, "Yeah, this played a role for me leaving." And let me tell you something. The disrespect of that incident that occurred was so wrong. For Draymond to call him a bitch when that happened.
He was probably like a bitch.
Okay.
What if it was true at the time? What if it was true at the time?
He probably was.
Okay.
But guess
all
what?
Right.
You asked for this bitch to be in your team. You called.
Nah.
And I'm using quotes when I say bitch. You called them when LeBron spanked that ass and made the biggest history comeback down 3-1. You call Kevin Durant and say, "Hey,
They didn't call him. Kevin Durant called them. And remember, no. First of all, remember during that same playoffs that you're talking about.
I don't want to talk about that.
No, we're going to talk about it because you brought it up. Yeah. Because the Warriors came back against your former team, the OKC Thunder, came back 3-1 against them.
Yes, but Kevin Durant didn't call anybody.
No, Kevin Durant.
You know what Kevin Durant did? Mm-hmm. He waited. He watched the playoff, and guess what he did? He just picked up the phone.
Yeah, he was watching the playoffs.
And who called? Right. Draymond. And the Splash Brothers.
Okay, all right.
So I'm so glad that he said that, and I'm glad that he moved. Like you and I talked about this when he went down for going, with the injury. What was it? Game 4 or Game 3? That he pulled up.
Game 5 with the Achilles. I believe it was Game 5.
He came back because, let's be honest, that guy, he's a baller. He said it. He came back. He didn't feel like he was rushed. He came back because he wanted to be there. He wanted to play. He wanted to be helping his teammate. But him coming back, clearly he regrets. He said it, right? He regrets it.
Well, he didn't say no. He didn't. No, actually, during that interview, he did not say he regretted it. What he actually said was that nobody put pressure on him to come back. He knew that his teammates were hoping that he would come back, but it was completely his decision. And he also said that he didn't regret it at all. He wanted to win the finals. He's a baller. He's a gamer. He's a hooper, as they say nowadays. So that's what he wanted to do.
Well, what I meant to say, not regret, but what I meant to say, he learned from that experience, and he publicly said he's going to sit out all year.
Oh, yeah, that
was smart. The smartest thing to do.
That was seriously smart.
And then also, when that went down as well, I'm pretty sure that took an effect on him. You know what? Like, I shouldn't play for this team. After Draymond called me a bitch, I just got hurt here. I don't want to go to a new building for another year, because if he would have signed, if I'm not mistaken, he would have only signed for 1 year, correct? It wasn't going to be...
Well, he's been... Well, no, I think at this point in his career, he was actually looking for a long-term deal. Okay. That's the Nets actually got him. But before that, he was doing, the 1 year guaranteed second-year player option. Yeah. He was doing that, like that old LeBron contract that he was doing for the Miami
I think he was going to do that one more time with the Warriors, because he didn't know with the Iguodala and Livingston leaving and all that, how that team were going to play out. And he wasn't sure if he was going to want to stay there after all these contracts are expensive.
Yeah, he did say that during the interview. Yes.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, he did.
But yeah, I just feel like he did the right thing moving on. Why you put that face?
I'm just listening to you. I'm just listening. I'm waiting
you think I'm drinking the Kool-Aid? Listen,
I'm waiting my turn.
Let me just say this. Kevin Durant, I'm a fan of him. You know this too. And I'm glad that he's not... basically what he said to wrap it up. You know who I am.
You know who I am.
And now we all know who he is.
Oh, I know who he is.
He's not shying from the questions. He's telling you straight what it is.
Okay.
And I like that. I can respect that.
All right. A couple things I want to bring up here. First of all, I love the fact that Kevin Durant is so open. I like in a sport like basketball, it's a lot about personalities. Most of it is about what happens on the court. But the great thing about basketball that we don't see in sports like baseball and football and hockey is just we have so much view into their lives, into their thought processes, which can honestly be a bit annoying for them, like, the whole Kyrie Irving situation and his quote-unquote mood swings. But it's also great for the fans because it brings up so much more interest in the game and it makes basketball that much more popular. So what he's doing is actually really good for basketball. I could never imagine Michael Jordan being this open about his life or, like a Larry Bird or even a Magic Johnson, guys like that. That played before.
Different era.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But what like LeBron is doing with all of his shows, like he's got the shop on HBO where he's very open about his views and everything. Mm-hmm. And what Kevin Durant is doing, he's doing the same thing. He's got a show on ESPN Plus too that he's doing the boardroom. So that's part of the reason why he was even doing that interview. So I really do respect that.
Yeah.
But Kevin Durant, the problem too is that when you do that, people are going to have things to say. We're going to all have our opinions. Yeah. My opinion is this. I understand what he's saying. His teammate called him a bitch to hurt his feelings, but that happened like really early in the year. I mean, I feel like at some point you got to come back from that because it's not like him and Draymond were tight, from what I understand. Like what Kevin Durant says that he wasn't tight with anybody on the team. He kind of felt like he was like the dude that was outside looking in, so he didn't feel like he was part of the whole Splash Brothers group. But my response to that is, what do you expect, Kevin Durant? Before you got there, they were in the finals 3 straight years. Before you got there, they'd all been drafted together. They'd been playing together for years before you got there. So when you're sitting there on your couch and you about to go to Hamptons and talk about how you're going to build this super duper team, what were you thinking? That they were just going to be like, oh, Kevin, come give us a hug. We love you. You're just like us. Aisha's going to make you a plate. Like what were you expecting from that whole situation? And I personally think that it was naive of him to think that it was going to be any different than it was. Also, too, I want to remind you, like we never talked about this in the podcast. This happened before we started doing the podcast. But I told you when they first made that deal that I thought it was a huge mistake. I told you, my exact words, if you remember, was that they're going to win a few championships. They're going to win 2, maybe 3, because there's nobody that's going to beat this team with these people together. You're just not going to do it. But after that, it's going to break up. They're not going to be able to keep this together. And one reason why I said that was because of Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant is a Rolling Stone. He's a guy that's not always... He just never seems like he's completely happy. He's looking for something that he wasn't going to find in Golden State. And I could tell you he wasn't going to find it in Golden State. Like, to me, I didn't think their personalities would mesh. And that matters to him. There's other teams that can stay together and hate each other. Absolutely hate each other. Like Shaq and Kobe, for instance. Just hate each other. Play together for 8 years, win 3 championships, go to the final 4 times. You know what I'm saying? They can do that and they're cool. But Kevin Durant's not built that way. And you can tell one person calls him a bitch, he's running for the hills.
Or there's a team that hate each other and you play bad. Bradley Beal and John Wall, but go ahead.
They hate each other?
Supposedly they always they're always beefing. Yeah, that's why the team is terrible.
I don't think that's not why the team is terrible. They're terrible because they're terrible. Well, Bradley Beal ain't terrible no more. Like Bradley
Beal is always good. John Wall is good too. I know we're off subject, but John Wall is good too. But they supposedly don't like each other. On the download, they don't like each other.
But like what I'm saying is that when you're at that level of talent, because say what you will about Bradley Beal and John Wall, I'm a fan of Bradley Beal, not so much of John Wall.
Same.
But they're not on that same talent level as a Steph Curry and a Kevin Durant and a Klay Thompson. It's a whole different ball game. And when you're at that level, the talent usually overcomes the personalities. But what I'm saying is that part of it was so important to Kevin Durant. And like I felt like maybe he didn't know himself. Like I feel like in the last few years he's gotten to like know and understand himself, his motivations more. Yeah. So I think that him coming out with all this honesty is kind of his way of working all this stuff out. But I could tell a few years ago that wasn't going to work for him. And the reason why I too say that is because I'm sure that Steph Curry wouldn't trade them 2 championships for anything. I'm sure that Kevin Durant, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green, Andre Iguodala all feel the same way about that. But if I'm looking at it from an ownership and a management perspective, if I was a GM of that team, I would have certainly regretted bringing on Kevin Durant because that was a 73-win team. That team beat the Bulls' record before he got there. And if you don't bring on a contract or a personality like Kevin Durant, you would have enough cap space and enough room to rebuild for years. And even without Kevin Durant, they would have beaten LeBron James without, a healthy Kevin Love or a, Uncle Drew, Kyrie Irving. They would have beaten that injured team the year before. They would still have the same number of championships. And what I'm saying is that they would have been looked more like the Spurs than more like a team that had like a 7 or 8 year run. And they would be able to carry this run into the next decade. Now with everything that's happening, we're not so sure if that's going to happen.
I got to say something, all right?
You say whatever you like, sir.
I'm biting my tongue right here because you always say Kevin Durant should have never been with the Warriors.
I say it. And you said it too. Don't be act like you ain't saying that.
What he did to Russell Westbrook, that is one of the biggest betrayals.
Oh, like I care about what he did to Russell Westbrook. That's like the bottom of my list.
It is to me. What he did to Russell Westbrook was one of the biggest heists or one of the biggest, I don't even know how you call it, the biggest screw job. You know how
the Montreal screw job?
Yeah. You know how in wrestling we all know about the Montreal screw job? If y'all don't know, Google it, all right?
Yeah.
Wrestling, Montreal screw job, you will know what we're talking about. And NBA and OKC, that's the Montreal screw job. But anyway, what he did for that team, for the Warriors, is gave them 2 championships. Mm-hmm. He hits a shot of shots in Game 3 and 4 to wrap it up against Cleveland. Mm-hmm. If Kevin Durant wasn't with the Warriors, I'm going to tell you right now, I don't care who LeBron had on his roster. Hell, it could have still been Isaiah Thomas. Mm-hmm. They would have won because you know why? You know how Kevin Durant said, you know how I am.
Oh, I know who he is.
You know what LeBron told Steph Curry? Get that shit out of here after that block. After that block, the momentum of the Warriors were done. And I feel like next year, if it was going to be the rematch, the finals rematch, LeBron would have demolished them again.
But listen, what you're talking about now, I'm never going to disagree with you on this point. What LeBron did against the Warriors to come back and beat them in Game 7, coming down 3-1. He's not the GOAT.
But
we'll have this conversation some other time.
Yeah.
All right. But what I will say is I've been watching basketball. I've seen every single final since like 1991. Mm-hmm. I have never seen a performance like that in the finals before. And that's including names like Dwayne Wade, Michael Jordan, Dirk Nowitzki. I have never seen somebody do that.
Dirk was good too.
He was great. But what I'm saying to you is that when he did that, though, he did have a healthy team with him. And like you always like to bring up, Uncle Drew was the guy that hit the shot.
He hit the shots he did.
But what I'm saying to you is that those next couple of years, after he came back from 3-1, they didn't have Kyrie Irving. He was hurt. Listen. The second finals, he wasn't on the team anymore, or he wasn't playing. Something happened. Yeah, I think he'd already been playing. Yeah, he already been traded to Boston.
Yeah.
The finals before that,
had Isaiah.
Yeah. The finals before that, he was hurt. And so was Kevin Love. Kevin Love is always hurt. So what I'm saying is those 2 finals, it was just LeBron. When he came back from 3-1, that was like 65, 70% LeBron, but that other 30% was Kyrie Irving.
Yeah.
So he didn't have that. So that wouldn't have happened. Going up against a retooled Warriors team coming back from a 73-9 season, he would have had no chance. It would have still been the same thing.
My money would have been on LeBron.
Plus 2, I'm going to say one other thing about this, okay? One other thing. When they started playing with Kevin Durant, they didn't look as happy. The basketball that they played, it didn't look as entertaining. It didn't. It was a lot of ISO. It was a lot of stopping with Kevin Durant. It didn't look like the basketball they played before was beautiful basketball. The basketball they played when Kevin Durant got there wasn't so much.
You know why? And to wrap it up, you know why it didn't look beautiful with Kevin Durant? Because when you have a Kevin Durant, you have to play that way.
Of course.
But the reason why the Warriors play the way that you love, and it's basically like the old Phoenix ways, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But to another level with the threes. But the reason why they play that way is because they don't have a Kevin Durant. They don't have another guy that can beat you off the dribble, pull up from anywhere. I know you're going to say Steph Curry, but come on. Like LeBron said, get that shit out of here when it matters, because somebody's going to be on your grill. But anyway... Something I want to talk about. Last week when we did the podcast, we had Dom, special guest in the building, and we covered.
Shout out Dom.
Shout out to Dom. We had our top 4 for East and West. What I want to cover is, so we can have it on the record, our final list.
Okay.
So we're going to go over your pick and my pick for the East and West real quick. My pick on the East side, we're going to go East side real quick. My pick was Bucks first, Sixers number 2, Pacers number 3, and Detroit number 4. And yours, should I keep going and then you...
Yeah, sure. Just go ahead and tell me your whole list. Yeah.
All right. So to finish my list, I have the Celtics number 5. I have the Heat number 6. And these two, I'm just praying that they make it there. But I have a feeling they could. I have number 7 Atlanta, and number 8 I have Orlando. Okay. So those are my top in the East.
And I want to say something about the Heat. Like, the Heat look great right now. Yeah, I know it's very early in the season. They look great.
I know, crazy.
Tyler Hero is coming off. They had that undrafted guy, last name none, can't remember his first name, but he has been balling like crazy. That team has played very well. One thing I will say, though, is that 2 of those wins that they've had so far have been against the Hawks without Trae Young. Trae Young did sprain his ankle. He's gone for 2 weeks. Yeah. So he sprained his ankle really early in that first Hawks game. And then, of course, he just played him, I think, just last night without Trae Young. So 2 of them wins were the Hawks without Trae Young. So we can't get too excited about that.
But still,
they look good so far. Yeah. So I do like that. But just to tell you my list, my top 4 was Sixers, of course, then Bucks, then Pacers, and then the Celtics. And I'm a little nervous about the Celtics. But I think that Brad Stevens is a great coach. I think he'll pull that together.
God Stevens.
His name is Brad Stevens, okay? Don't be breaking commandments. And then my bottom 4, I have the Heat number 5. I have Raptors number 6. I have Nets number 7. And I have Magic number 8. And I'm a little nervous about the Nets.
Wow,
actually.
I didn't put the Raptors at all.
The Raptors have been playing great. I've actually managed to catch such a few of their games because League Pass was free for the first week of the season. Yeah. I was watching basketball all night, every night.
Not no more.
Yeah, it's not anymore. I ain't paying for it. But there's enough games on TV.
Yeah.
But I actually saw a lot of the Raptors, and they're just playing great. Like, they're sharing the ball. They're playing great defense. Siakam got his money and is balling out. You know, Kyle Lowry, that man who was from Philly, is playing very, very well. So I do believe they're going to be in that bottom 4. They actually might be past the Heat because I think their wins have been a little bit more quality than the Heat's wins. But, you know, I mean, it's early in the season, but that's what I got in the East.
So repeat it one more time. Heat, Raptors, and Nets? Or who?
Yeah, Heat, then Raptors, then Nets, and then Magic. And quite frankly, I was thinking about putting the Nets, higher, but...
So you believe in Uncle Drew?
I don't. I think Uncle Drew is a myth. But the East is weak, so that bottom 4, they better watch out. Your Pistons might take their spot. I
can't believe I didn't put Brooklyn either. I guess I didn't think about this list very well. But I'm gonna stay with my list because I do want Atlanta and I do want Orlando to be there because I want Fultz.
I must see Atlanta
to face y'all.
Oh, that'd be great. I had that for the 1-8 matchup.
Yeah,
I can't. Well, I hope somebody runs into his shoulder. That's what I hope happens.
Now let's talk about the West real quick. So in the West, just to recover it real quick, I had Houston, Denver, Clippers, and Dallas. Okay. Yes, I said Dallas. And Dallas, my goodness, they're looking great. Before I even put them, before we realized how they were going to look right now, they're looking beautiful, and I love it. Sure. So my pick is looking good right now for 4th spot. Okay. Number 5, I had Lakers. Number 6, I have Portland. Number 7, I have the Jazz. Okay. And number 8, can I get a drum roll, please? The Phoenix Suns. We made it.
You have to. You wearing a jersey. You have to say that. You have no choice now.
We made it.
You have to say it.
Notice real quick, I took out the Spurs, which I always do every year, and it bites me in the ass.
They've made the playoffs for over 20 years. They won 50 games for 20 years before last season. They're coached by one of the greatest coaches in the history of professional sports. Yeah. But you don't have them making the playoffs.
I don't have them this year. Okay. I don't. There's no way.
There's no way.
There's not this
There's no way.
There's no way.
No way. Okay.
And then I took off the Golden State Warriors because of what we know now with the Curry injury.
They have no chance. They're going to be a lottery team.
Yes.
They're going to be that bad. 3 months, 45 games.
Yeah, so I don't have the Warriors too. So let me hear your list, though.
Yeah, but talking about the Warriors, though, like, I know you're loving it.
I
know how you are.
I can't
I know
wait.
how you feel about them. You're such
By
a
the way,
Warriors
Phoenix
hater.
whooped that ass. But go ahead.
You're such a Warriors hater. I feel bad for them, though. Like,
I love it.
I mean, part of me doesn't, though, because, like I said with the whole Kevin Durant thing, they should have listened to me. They should have read my emails. So I told them to pick him up. It was going to be a mistake. But, you know, they've had so much success, and they've all gotten paid, so you can't really feel too bad for them. And quite frankly, Steph Curry's been to the finals for like 5 or 6 straight years.
Yeah.
So maybe he'll enjoy the break. Like, I'm sure LeBron enjoyed his break last season filming Space Jam. You know, like, you got to kind of think of it like that.
Which
they are humans.
we will watch, but go ahead.
I didn't even see the first one. I'm not watching the second one.
What?
I thought, in '96 when that came out, I just thought it looked so stupid. I was probably like 13. And I'm like, I don't want to see this. Can I watch Star Trek? That's exactly what I said. That's the same year that Star Trek First Contact came out. I'm like, this is real. This is real. All right, I had a choice between First Contact and Space Jam, and you know what I picked.
First Contact.
Of course I did.
Such a geek.
I am such a huge Trekkie. I am a nerd, but I don't care. I do not care. Live long and prosper. But anyway, my list, my top 4.
Yeah, top 4. Let's start with top 4 again.
It was Clippers 1, and actually, I switched it during the podcast. It was Lakers 1 and then Clippers.
Okay.
And then Blazers was 3, and then Rockets was 4. And then my bottom 4, I had the Jazz number 5, I had the Nuggets number 6, I had the Mavs number 7, and I had the Spurs number 8. I'm sorry, but the Phoenix Suns ain't making the playoffs. I don't care what you say.
Man, you had the Nuggets all the way at 6? 6?
Yeah, you know why? Because I like what the Jazz did. I like their offseason moves. I like Kendrick Mitchell. I call him that because he looks like Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah.
But, you know, I like Donovan Mitchell. I like Mike Conley. Rudy Gobert is cool. I like, and they're well coached. I like what they're doing.
Ingles.
Yeah, and they've actually been at that spot. They've been at the 5 spot in the last 3 years. So I see no reason to change it now. You know, I believe they're going to finish there. The Nuggets, they kind of took a step back for me. Like the Joker, he put on some weight this summer. He's looking a little fluffy.
Yeah.
You know, like he wasn't really doing the work that he was supposed to be doing this past summer.
Yeah.
So I kind of feel like they're falling off. And their coach is what, Mike Malone, I think?
Yeah.
He actually has some words for his team and their effort.
So you do got the Mavs.
Of
so
course.
you agree with me, but they're in 7.
Yeah, because the West is tough. Like 7 is probably going to be like damn near 50 games. So it's not like putting them at 7. They're going to be a terrible team. I just think the West is so tough that's where they're going to finish. Because I mean they're still young. You know, KP. You know, Porzingis, he has no playoff experience. He's just coming back from injury. Luka is his second year. He has no experience. They're well coached, and they do have something good going on there. But I don't think they're going to finish too high.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, we shall see. When the playoff comes, we're gonna go over this,
All right.
and we're gonna talk about who was closest to right.
Yeah.
And I have a feeling, looking at my Suns being there and not yours, I think I'm closest.
Yeah, they're going to finish 12th in the West. You heard it here first. That's better than last year when they were 15.
Well, it's time.
What's the time for?
For topic roulette.
Oh man!
And it's my turn.
Oh, he's asking a question.
It's
I get to
my
pick. I
turn.
can't wait. I like picking.
Yes.
And you know what? You know what's crazy about this too is that I'm the one that loves to be prepared. So when we do topic roulette and you're asking me, I'm not prepared for this.
Yeah.
So I'm like, ugh. This is so un-Joe. But let's go.
Our first choice is facts or fiction.
Okay. All right.
Our second choice,
Uh-huh.
teacher knows best.
Ooh.
Quote unquote.
Ooh. Okay. All right.
You like that?
I like both of them. And what's the third one?
And the third choice is simply sensei.
Sensei.
Yes.
Wow, like these names are crazy. Like Fact or Fiction reminds me of that show Ripley's Believe It or Not that was hosted by a Star Trek character, Jonathan Frakes, who played Commander Riker. So that kind of like back to Star Trek. And then teacher, I love teachers.
Yeah.
And then Sensei. Wow. All right. I'm gonna go Fact or Fiction.
Fact or fiction?
Yeah.
Final
answer.
All right, here we go.
Final answer.
And I quote, all right?
All right.
This man will be a star in this league if he can stay healthy. His name is Michael Porter Jr.
Oh my God.
All right.
Okay.
There's an article that says that he could be one of the biggest steals in recent draft history throughout his first couple preseason games, he was balling out. He's phenomenal. What did you think? Did you even watch Michael Porter Jr.? Do you even know? Or should we just go to another topic?
Well, I've seen a couple of Nuggets games, but the games I saw, I didn't get in. I remember that one game, he hasn't even gotten into the game, so I haven't really even seen him.
I don't understand.
If he's that good, why is he in the game?
So it's a fix.
That's the question. Basically, that's my choice.
So that's it. That's it. We just cover that he's not getting playing time, so it's clearly fiction.
It looks like it.
I think to defend him a little bit.
Okay.
I don't know why he's not playing. I don't know why Denver is not playing him right now. Maybe he has lingering, back pain still. Who knows?
Was that his injury?
Yeah.
His back?
Yeah.
He missed the whole season because of his back?
Yeah.
What happened to his back?
But it cost him to get drafted so low too, or so high. Like
what happened? Do you know what caused that injury?
I don't know.
He's young to be having back problems.
Yeah.
That's actually a bad sign.
Yeah.
Like, he's a basketball player. He runs up and down the court.
Exactly.
And you're like that young with back problems?
Yeah.
Ugh, that's fiction. That is fiction.
Yeah.
Good God.
I guess we're done then. I think it's a fact. I believe in this kid. What I've seen from workouts videos and from what he did in college. Well, he didn't even play that much in college either, but he was a top prospect in high school. He was. Wow. Yeah, like he really was. And I know your wow sounds sarcastic.
It's not sarcastic. It's like you haven't played. Like,
yeah, I know. But I just feel like his length, his position, I'm not going to compare him to no other elite superstar that we have. But to me, he could be that guy to be the next elite small forward that we're craving right now. Because we need another newcomer. You know what I mean?
I don't want to be that guy because I waited for Joel Embiid for 3 years. So I can't be that guy that says that.
But 1 year.
One thing I will say, though, is that what happened with Joel Embiid is the exception to the rule. Because, I was talking during that whole, during the dark days of the process that I'm not sure, man. When a guy misses his first 2 full seasons and then he comes in, you're like, man, this looks like Greg Oden. Like, I was scared. I was terrified, petrified, mortified that Joel Embiid was going to be Greg Oden. I feel like it was like a 1 in 1,000 chance that he came out to be the monster that he is right now. Who, by the way, Kevin Durant, during that interview with Stephen A. Smith, said that he was one of his top 5 players. That's what Kevin Durant said.
Well, you know what, Kevin Durant? Get off the weed, all right?
Get off the weed.
Get off the weed, all right? Just heal right. Don't use that. Don't use it.
But my whole point is that, like, Joel Embiid was the same way. He didn't play in college barely.
Right.
He didn't play in high school barely. When he came to the United States and played in high school, he barely knew how to play basketball. So it's possible that Michael Porter Jr. will come and he'll be that guy. But it's not a good sign, though.
When he's not playing right now.
Yeah, it's not. It's just not a good sign. Like, how many other players can you say that missed that much time in college and in their first year in the NBA, and then they actually come out to be something spectacular?
Yeah, I think it's a fact. We'll just have to wait a little bit more.
A little bit more. Hey, I waited 3 years for Joel Embiid. You can wait a couple of more months maybe for Michael Porter Jr.
Yeah. All right. That's it.
All right. Well, it's been fun.
Well, it's time to unplug the mics and shut the lights. Settle down. We'll be back another night. Signing off.
This is Joe.
And this is Lito.
Have a great night.
Bye-bye.